What is up, everyone? Welcome back to another stream. Is everything working? Welcome back to another stream. It is game week 11 deadline time. Today we are going to have a look at game week 11. We're going to answer your questions. We're going to talk about all of the upcoming injuries. Well, all of the current injuries that we've got. If you guys could let me know that it is all working. I have such a panic now that things are not working. Mute, everything like that. So if someone in the chat and the mods could just say that it is working, that would be fantastic. Good to see so many of you in already. Today we'll be talking about my team. We will be talking about your potential transfers as well. Of course, the injury news that we have had today will be a big talking point. But before we get started, before we start answering all of your questions, say hello in the chat as well. We will do the usual round of hellos before we get into the deadline stream. So yeah, drop a hello in drop a hello in the chat and we'll get into all of your questions as well. Before we start, we've already had a member join, LTRT Tapper. Thank you for joining as a VC member, tier 2, base tier member. I appreciate you joining a lot. Again, anyone who wants to join as a member, there are 2 tiers that we have. We have base tier and then a top tier. Base tier gets all the perks for the live streams, and then top tier gets you access to that Twitter group chat with myself and all the other tier 2 members, as well as moderators as well. So say hello in the chat. Thank you for joining as a member. Let's get into your questions as well. If you have not already, drop a like on the stream as well. Subscribe if you are new, but let's get going. Try and hit 100 likes just to kick off the stream. But Sanduro, Nacho, Nick, Prankil, FPL Charlie, Aaron, Masalani, Brookhouse, how are we doing? Hamza, Maxed, Chris, Suresh, Harry Power, FPL Jelly, Kavit, TG, Mahir, Tim Evans, Sagar, Aryaman, Glenn, Devon, OTW, Isaac Willis, NM, Name, Sanduru, Dan, Zeed, Mayer, and everyone else. Thank you guys so much for being in and watching already. I hope you've had a good week. It is Friday. I've got the week off work next week as well, so I'm in a fantastic mood. Got time off work and FPL, the upcoming game week is here. Let me just adjust my camera just a little bit. One of you said you saw me in Flair's stream. Again, Flair is a FIFA streamer. Thank you for jumping across if you did see me there as well. There was a super chat from Dmitry Kalasnikov. Thank you. What are my thoughts on Kilman? So we will talk a lot about those defenders, the cheap defenders, the mid-price defenders that we are all looking at. I personally am not going to be buying a Wolves defender. I can't, although they are good defensively, a team that only scores 3 goals so far this season, I feel like I can't go and buy. They're not going to control games enough as much as I would want them to. Again, game week 12 is quite a big one. They have quite a nice fixture this week, and if you need a defender this week, Wolves are maybe top because they do have Nottingham Forest at home this week, but generally I would rather buy into a Brighton defender, for example. Brighton have Nottingham Forest this week. Wolves go away to Palace next week. You probably not expect a clean sheet there. I think Brighton have the best chance of a clean sheet over the next 2. What are my glasses looking like? Oh, it's not good. Let me take them off because it sort of loses itself in the lighting. But yeah, I would probably be swaying away from a Wolves defender going into this game week personally. Although they have a good fixture this week, long-term planning, I think you're better off elsewhere. You love my stream from Algeria. Welcome, Mitrovic. So, Mitrovic, to start off with a Mitrovic question, we will get back to it and we will discuss a little bit more detail. But my first thought is that Mitrovic is not going to be available, is not going to start this week. I think he will start game week 12, and I think he'll be on the bench this week to come in if they need him against Bournemouth, is my current thinking of what's going to happen with Mitrovic. For me, Mitrovic is a hold. Play your likes of Andreas Pereira on first sub if you want him to hopefully come in off your bench. All of that good stuff. So, yeah, I don't expect Mitrovic to start this week, but I think he will start in game week 12, which is the midweek game week and the blank game week that we have for Arsenal and Manchester City. So the week we really need all of our players, I think Mitrovic should be okay. Again, thank you all for joining. 580 of you in already. If you guys have not liked the stream already, and if you are new and you have not subscribed, make sure you do a couple of those things before we keep going. There's only 78 likes and 600 of you watching. We're going to be live all the way up until the FPL deadline as well. So 2 hours and 5 minutes. We'll be answering all of your questions, potentially getting some early team news. Those of you looking at potential Brighton assets, maybe we'll get some early team news as well for you between now and the deadline. So Captain Trossard, KDB, Foden or Maddison. For me, it is Haaland captain. And I imagine all of us in the chat do have... I do have Haaland in there. If I really had to go against them with that, I would still probably go with Kevin De Bruyne. I think Manchester City will win this weekend, and I think they will win comfortably as well. So I wouldn't be backing against going with Manchester City. If you really don't have Haaland, I would definitely be captaining Kevin De Bruyne or Phil Foden this weekend. How did my colleagues react to finding out on Twitter? Yes, if anyone who doesn't know, my well-kept secret of my Twitter account and my YouTube account was blown wide open last week, and they all reacted really well actually, which was very nice. They do want a bit of a insight into how I do it, a session on how I edit and record, but yeah, they all reacted pretty well, so that was nice. LTT Rapper, again, thank you for joining as a member. Following for a couple of weeks now, my first time playing FPL. You're currently ranked 60, but wasted your free hit game week 3. How much can that cost you later? What it will probably mean is that you have 1 week later on that you get a big hit of 20 points or so. So it won't impact you that much. So I would say you're probably maybe, 100k at the moment if you've used your free hit, maybe slightly more, but you can still definitely push on and have a good season despite you playing your free hit already. So news on James as well. So it looks like Reece James is not going to be available for the foreseeable future as well. If you have other transfers to make, I think James, there is a very, very small chance that Reece James is back at some point before the World Cup. However, I think the chances of it happening soon enough for you to keep him is very, very slim. But for me, for example, this week, I'm going to use my transfers elsewhere in my team. And I will sell James next week once we get that confirmation. Another sort of few days. He's meant to have a test over the weekend. So again, going into the press conference, going into the midweek, we should potentially see that an update on Reece James, and we'll have that. If you are thinking about selling Reece James and you're not 100% certain, I would be selling him. I think the chance of him being fit and playing again before the World Cup is about 15%, looking at the quotes that we've had at the moment. So I think the chances are very, very low. Grahey or Pereira, I would definitely be playing Pereira this week. I don't necessarily think there's a Crystal Palace clean sheet in this one, nor is there a clean sheet for Leicester as well, despite me having both of those goalkeepers. I think both teams will score in that one, so I would be going with Andreas Pereira as my starting option out of those two. Again, it's a nice fixture at home to Bournemouth. Again, I've got so many double ups in my team, but I would be starting Andreas Pereira out of those two. What do I think about Mitrovic for 15 minutes or Pereira who plays the full 90? So this is, again, do I start Mitrovic and take the chance that he starts, or do I go with Andreas Pereira? If I knew Mitrovic was on the bench, I would probably start Pereira. But again, there is that sneaking suspicion that we do get a start for Mitrovic as well. I will again be starting Mitrovic over Pereira this week. There is a great chance that Andreas comes on off my bench for potentially, probably Mitrovic, but at the moment, I am starting Mitrovic over Pereira. If I had the same situation in your teams as well, I would probably go and do something very, very similar. So this is my team. I have 2 free transfers and I have 0.2 million in the bank. So virtually no money, but I do have 2 moves. I have flags all over my team. So I play my wild card over the international break, and I now have Reece James and I have Trent Alexander-Arnold. If you watch my team selection, you know what I think of what Trent Alexander-Arnold and Reece James, to be honest, have done in my team so far since I brought them in on a wild card. But yeah, both of them will need to be transfers out, particularly Trent, who's holding a lot of budget. He is the more expensive of the two, so he's definitely the one that I'll be looking to transfer out this week. Free up that money. It will help with transfers further down the line, but not really what I wanted going into game week 12. I have got a slight concern about the amount of players I can put out in game week 12, because I do have 3 Manchester City, I do have Martinelli, and now in theory 3 flagged players as well. But I'm hoping that I can get back to 11 as well. Aaron Ireland, thank you for joining as a base tier member. Harry's vice captain managers. I appreciate you joining so much. Start using the emojis in the chat. Start using, get your badge showing in there as well. And it will upgrade, of course, for you members every single month. There'll be a new color to your badge up until it upgrades to gold, which no one has had yet. No one is up to their 1 year of being a member. No one is up to 1 year of being a member. So lots of questions in the chat. Let's go to my transfer plans now. Again, just before we do, there's almost 1,000 of you in here. Thank you so much for joining. If you are new, hit that subscribe button. We've just hit 35,000 subscribers as well. So I massively appreciate your support. If you could hit the like button on that stream as well, that would be great. There's only 100 likes, but my transfer plan. So I was really torn on what to do, and having 2 flags in my defense, I knew straight away that I had to go and have a look at potential defensive transfers that I wanted to make. Yeah, I think Rory, I think you might be first. I can't quite remember, but I believe you are first and the quickest person that's going to reach that gold badge. You're on red at the moment, which I think is the one before. I think that's 6 months. So basically I've got flags in my team. Trent's going to have to go. In terms of potential replacements, it was going to be originally a Brighton option in Lewis Dunk. But I don't fancy Brighton for a clean sheet that much this week. I'm happy to bring in Dunk for Forest, for Wolves, for Aston Villa. 3 of those 5, I'm quite happy to play them. And I probably will end up with a Brighton defender in my team going into that blank game week. But I don't think it's going to be the defender that I bring in this week. I think I'm going to turn to the Tottenham man. 4.6 million in Matt Doherty. Oh, you think red is... 2 or 3. It then goes blue or something, I think. Or maybe it goes back to like white, which was my old logo as well. I think I made that one a reasonable milestone. Throwback to the old days. But I currently think I'm going to go with Matt Doherty. Now, he's only started 1 game so far this season in game week 10. But the key thing for me here is Emerson Royale is suspended in game week 11 and game week 12. So the next 2 game weeks of FPL, Emerson is suspended on that right-hand side. I needed to cough, and I didn't want to do what I did last time where I muted myself and then unmuted myself, but I think I'm going to go with Matt Doherty of Tottenham as my transfer going into this week. Reason is because I think there's a good chance that he starts both of the next 2 because of that Emerson Royale suspension. Doherty didn't start in the Champions League on Wednesday night, which I think is quite important for him. He didn't start that, so he's had a week's rest. He can then easily play this game. I'm pretty certain that he's going to play Everton at home. I then also think he's going to start Manchester United in game week 12, and then he will be rested in game week 13, and that's fine because I then got enough players back going into that week. Perisic is another one, but the issue with Perisic is, one, he's slightly more expensive, so you're going to have to pay slightly more for Perisic than you're going to have to pay for the others, and he competes with Sessegnon as well. So again, let me get up the Tottenham lineup for you that took place in the Champions League the other night, because that has quite a big indication on exactly what we're going to do this week as well. So this is a website called SofaScore. I'm sure you've all heard of it. Very, very useful. Let me go into results. So when do they play? 7th of the 9th? No, that's not it. This one down here. Eintracht Frankfurt. Yeah, so Emerson Royale and Sessegnon both started. So you would expect Perisic and you would expect Doherty to start this weekend. You then expect Doherty to carry his starting lineup into the midweek fixture against Manchester United as well, given he didn't start this one. However, Sessegnon could easily then come back in for Perisic for the second game. So I think Doherty, at the cheaper price, is about $1 million cheaper than you're going to get with Perisic as well. So if you do need to bench him, then it's much, much easier to do if you've got Doherty in your team compared to if you've got Perisic in there as well. Rory will be only one chanting Doherty, whatever the pronunciation is, all game. Again, thank you all so much for joining. I hope you've had a fantastic week and are looking forward to the weekend. Are you going to watch any of the games, or are you going to any of them? Any of this information, yeah, just give me a shout. Also, let me know in the chat who you're going to captain this week. Is it going to be Erling Haaland? Is anyone betting against Haaland? If it's Haaland, then fine. But if you are going to bet against him, again, let me know. Welcome, Carl. Welcome to all the members and the moderators in the chat as well. So my plan is to do this. Doherty in for Trent. It will free up 2.9 million, which will be Really, really helpful going forward. Hold or sell Mitrovic. So for me, Mitrovic is an absolute hold. I would be holding Mitrovic for the midweek deadline. I also think there's a reasonable chance that he could start this week as well. He has been training with the squad overall as well. So he has been training with the squad, which is, again, really, really important. And he's done that. He didn't do that before game week 10. So it's not quite the same. Yeah, do the poll. Yeah, that's true. Captain, Haaland, other. Where's the, ask community. The big button at the bottom, Harry. Good job. Yeah, one-sided poll this will be, but let's see what you guys have got to say. Son, for me, you hate to follow. Wow, he's going against Son. He's going against Kane. He's on Heung-min Son. 82% of you going with Haaland straight away off the captain. Let's leave that for a minute. Get voting on that and let's see what everyone is deciding to do with their captaincy this week. You might even start Andreas to avoid a 1 pointer for Mitro. I'm not against it. Like, I'm not completely against captaining Mitrovic this week, but I would starting Mitrovic this week or benching him. I'm personally going to start him though, because I don't, although Andreas scored last week, yeah, I still think long term I prefer sort of Mitrovic generally, even off the bench. So is Mitro starting? I personally don't think he is going to start. I think he'd probably come off the bench, but I'm pretty certain he's going to be in the squad this week. Pretty certain he's going to be in the squad this week. Best captain game week 12. You don't have Kane. It's Haaland, definitely. Haaland and Kane are the only two players I would want to be captaining this week. Why am I leaving James? I could sell James this week, to be fair. I could use 2 free transfers and just go James to Lewis Dunk, James to Dunk, and Doherty in as well. I suppose the thing is I don't plan on starting Dunk anyway, whether I bring Dunk in or not this week. So I was just going to roll the second transfer in case we get a little bit more information. The only thing with that is the potential price changes. So this is a website called Fantasy Football Fix. There is a link in the description to it as well. James, I imagine, will be dropping in price as well this game week. So if I look at Reece James, he's actually predicted to drop tonight. So whether I'm better off is what's going to happen to Lewis Dunk. Dunk's not predicted. Webster's not predicted either. In terms of price changes tonight, Trossard's predicted to go up. Interesting. I don't plan on moving early, but Trossard is likely to be into my team for Kevin De Bruyne next week. Cancelo, we've got in there. Martinelli, like, this is crazy. Cancelo rising in price this week when he has Liverpool and a blank. Like, defensively, he often gets terrorised by Salah. So I personally am not certain that Cancelo in should be warranting a price change, but it is what it is. Again, thank you so much for joining. So many of you in here. Massively appreciate it. If you haven't already, like the stream, subscribe if you are new. Again, we've just passed 35,000 subscribers, which is like crazy. I just never thought ever setting up the channel that I would get there. We're going to try and hit 35.5k subscribers, but it's a long way off. But I'm sure there must be 200 of you in here who aren't subscribed. So if you could help me get there, that would be ace. Thoughts on a Fulham defender? I personally don't back Fulham defensively. They are conceding a lot of goals so far this season. I wouldn't really want to be going and getting a Fulham defender in. I haven't looked at them, to be honest, but I wouldn't go and be buying them at the moment. Again, we can look at the fixtures that we've got here. So we've got, let's sort by difficulty, shall we? Between now and the World Cup. Sorry, you don't want me clicking. That's annoying. Where have we got? 17, 16. Cool. So in terms of defence, if we sort by defensive difficulty, they are up there, like Bournemouth, Villa, Everton at home in the next 4, but they're not defending really well. I don't go into any fixture expecting there to be a clean sheet for them in there. So Salah. So a few of you asking, am I going to get Salah for game week 12? So I put a tweet out after the game in the Champions League where they scored 7, and I said, if Salah plays centrally against Liverpool, I will bring him in and captain him in game week 12. What I meant by this is Salah played off the bench much more central. If you look at his heat map or look at his average position, I don't know if I can do it on here. if there's like generally like an average position for the team or where it is. I can never find it. I can never find it, but it's like he's basically playing so far forward compared to everyone else, and he's so central. So if he's going to do that long term and he's going to do that consistently, then Salah becomes an incredible option again. And I want to be straight back into him, and I will sell Kevin De Bruyne and I will go straight back to Mo Salah if that is likely to be the case. We heard in the press conference today that he said he knows that Salah needs to be more central and more focal, and he's able to play in multiple positions. That doesn't mean very much to me, and I don't think it means very much to you as well. But I am, just going to bear in mind, bide my time with my transfer. Although Trossard potentially rising in price, I want to see how Liverpool line up this weekend before I go and decide it. Because if Salah is central, Salah looks much better, then I will go and get Salah in, and I will captain him in game week 12 if that's going to be the case. So I am keeping an eye on Salah for this week, because the big thing for Salah owners is that his positioning has been awful. He's been so wide and so uninvolved that he's not been able to consistently return points. If that's going to change and we have the ability to click on the player, and he has the ability to turn that back, then that he becomes a great option, and not that many people will be able to go to him because they'll need transfers elsewhere, apart from people who have got Kevin De Bruyne in their team as well. So I straight away am looking at Kevin De Bruyne to Salah next week if we see Salah play a more central role in Liverpool's attack. So yeah, that's what I'm waiting for, which is why I'm also a little bit like, let's roll the transfer so I can just see a little bit more of Liverpool in particular going into next week. Because if they look better, although their defence looks like it's in pieces as well, apparently Konate didn't train either, which could mean they're going to have to play Gomez at centre back and Milner at right back this weekend against City, which is just does not bode well, like, at all. A back four of Van Dijk, probably Robertson, he looks like he's back fit, but then the other side of Gomez and Milner is just not it. Those of you with Phil Foden in your team, you will be hoping and praying that Foden lines up on the left-hand side and not the right. Right against Van Dijk or Robbo, and left against Gomez and Milner. I wonder which people will prefer. Moxie has just said Maddison yellow card inbound. So for anyone who is not aware, James Maddison is one yellow card away from a suspension. Game week 12, of course, is the blank game week where all of us need Maddison to play. If Maddison gets a yellow card this weekend, he will miss game week 12 with 5 yellow cards, and he will pick up a 1-game suspension. I would rather my captain blank this weekend than James Maddison pick up a yellow card. So it's just written in absolute folklore that he's going to pick up that yellow card. But yeah, let's see. Defensive replacements. So let's have a look at the fixtures. Let's have a look at my potential chance as well. And I will rank all of these defenders that you guys are asking about, and I will go through them all. So we've got the fixture ticker here. Let's use this. I know it's not necessarily, this is the one we'll use. Cool. So this is the fixture ticker that we've got. Again, you've got Crystal Palace fixtures there at the top as the best ones, and they have Wolves at home next week. To be honest, if I was buying any defender this week, I would be going in for a Crystal Palace defender straight off the bat. Leicester away this week is not ideal, is the only thing. If you really need them this week, then maybe you don't. But if you are just looking generally for Trent replacements, then it goes straight for a Crystal Palace man. If you need them to start this week, and you really need them to start this week, then you look at defenders that have nice fixtures this week. You've got Bournemouth you're not going to buy. The big one for me then you go and look at is Tottenham, right? So if you can go for Matt Doherty at 4.6 million and you don't need him to start for the foreseeable amount of games as well. So if you only need him really for 11 and 12 like me, then that's absolutely fine. Then I think Doherty's an excellent buy. again, if we look at teams with the best fixtures over the next 2, Fulham come top, which is why someone in the chat was suggesting a Fulham defender. Hello from Istanbul. I love it. I do always wonder, and I know I can look in my demographics, but it doesn't quite tell me where everyone does watch from. So again, I'll keep chatting, but if you guys could just drop in the chat exactly where you are watching from. We've hit 300 likes on the stream as well. The start of this stream has been crazy. I think all of you have got injury flags like me in your teams as well, but let me know where you're watching from. Like the stream and subscribe if you haven't already. Again, we are trying to get to 35.5k subscribers, which is 200 away, which would be fantastic. But over the next 2, Fulham do have a really nice couple of fixtures, but I don't think I'd really be going and buying them. Southampton, again, you don't really want. If I needed for the next 2, Brighton would be top. If you, again, want a Brighton asset. Leicester is good, but they can't seem to keep clean sheets to save their lives at all at the moment. And a lot of us have Ward. I wouldn't be going and getting... Jen, I just cracked me up. Brighton would be short term and Spurs would be long term. If you have Crystal Palace as well, then I like them. So my short answer is if you need defenders, if you don't have a Crystal Palace defender in Gaeta or Grahey, if you don't have any of it, then I would probably go and pick one of them up. Probably Grahey, Anderson equally as good. Goal threat is pretty split between the two, so you're basically having to guess on variance between the two. I'd probably go Grahey and just save the money. If that is also done and you want them longer term as well, then I would go Lewis Dunk. If you are just focused on the next 2 games and you don't need them long term, then Matt Doherty is your guy. Olvar, thank you for subscribing. Thank you for all the new subscribers as well. God, so much response. Australia, Bolivia, Bulgaria, Portugal, Madrid, Kenya. My mum grew up in Kenya, and I have been a couple of times. Ibiza, Barbados. God, love it. I would love to go to a lot of these places. So if I ever do, I would love to have a drink sometime. I'm in Carl, drop me a message on Twitter. I'm actually in Amsterdam next week. I'm on off work next week for anyone who doesn't know. I'm still going to be recording. Equipment is all coming with me as it always does. But I am going to Amsterdam, Brussels and Bruges. So any of you live in any of those 3 countries, drop me a DM on Twitter and we'll see maybe if there's a game on while we are out there. Sweden, Pennsylvania, God, the variety is amazing. And actually, the amount of people in England near me is very, very minimal. But I love it. So I'm starting Grahey over Dunk if I had both. No. This week I would start Dunk. But over the next 2, well, I suppose, yeah. So Dunk if you need short term. Also Grahey as well. Grahey is better between now and 16. If you need to play him a lot, then you go Grahey because over that period you do have a better fixture run for Crystal Palace. If you need cheap and you need but a little bit of squad depth, then you go Dunk. But elsewhere, I do like Doherty as well. Those are my top 3 defensive transfers to buy at the moment. If I had to rank it, again, I'd probably go Doherty. I'd probably go Dunk versus Grahey's really, really close. The fixture next week, again, is pretty level. I would go Doherty, Grahey, Dunk as my top 3 defensive transfer. Yeah. San Francisco... Scotland flag banned. I don't think I've banned the Scotland flag. I don't, I promise. Start Andreas or Mitrovic. I would probably start... I'm going to start Mitrovic as per my team. One sec. If you are enjoying... Mods, if one of you... I don't know if you can. Just pin that comment. I don't know if you can. If not, I'll do it. So, South Africa, Johannesburg, Eric Dyer. So, the other one is Spurs. But I suppose my question to you is why are you going to buy the likes of Eric Dyer at 5.2 million now, I think, instead of going in for Doherty at 4.6 million? So, let me get the fixtures back up. Spurs is good, but long term, let me get 16 up. So where have we got Tottenham? Newcastle at home, maybe. You might want to start them in 14 and in 16 as well. But there's a chance that Doherty starts some of those as well, even over Emerson Royale. So I would still go, if you want a Spurs defender, I was looking for Romero earlier in the week, but then I looked and saw that Doherty didn't start in the Champions League and that Emerson was suspended for both the next 2 games. It just makes sense for me that Doherty is going to start both of those next 2. So that's my thinking. Is Doherty nailed? So again, yeah, a few of those things in there. Let me pin my comment. Where did it go? Gosh, I'm a mile up already. Pin message. Cool. Doherty. I have no idea which it is, and I feel like I will never know. I will never know what the correct pronunciation is. What about Tsimikas? So it looks like Robert's back fit. So Tsimikas, unless you needed him this week, but he's playing City this week, so that's not the greatest. Thoughts on Loftus-Cheek and Tarkowski until 16? Loftus-Cheek is a definite no for me. He's not nailed, and his attacking threat is not nearly good enough. Tarkowski as well. I would, again, their fixtures. Let me get fixtures up. The FDR. There we go. So Everton, Spurs away, Newcastle at home. Like, you need him for these 2 fixtures. Really, a lot of us are looking short term in defenders, and you've got those 2. Like, if I was bringing in a defender game week 13 to 16, then yeah, absolutely think about an Everton defender. But yeah, the next 2 are so difficult. There must be bottom of the fixture ticker over the next 2, which means going in for an Everton defender is a no go for me. So yeah, I'll be looking elsewhere. What about Wolves defense? So they are fine. Like, I don't dislike them, but a team that only scores 3 goals generally is just not something I want to invest in. Palace are away next week. I've got Zaha. I've got a lot of Palace in that game. I'm predicting a Palace win in that game as well, so I don't particularly think there's much in there for a Wolves defender. It's not bad this week, but I'd rather, I'm going to spend a lot of time going, I'm not sure about this, but I'd that's not a bad defender, but why won't you go for Doherty instead? Like, this week, who do you think scores more points? Doherty at home to Everton or a Wolves defender at home to Forest? After this one, again, let's get the fixtures back up. Wolves do then have Leicester, Brentford, Brighton, Arsenal. Like, it's okay, but Leicester at home, Leicester score a lot of goals. Brighton are scoring a lot of goals. Arsenal score a lot of goals. I just don't necessarily back the Wolves defence until we see a little bit more consistently. A little bit more. Pickford I don't dislike. The fixtures for Everton are pretty good, especially for a goalkeeper. Like, everyone starts goalkeepers in bad fixtures, right? But I wouldn't be buying an Everton defender at the moment. But between now and 16, I quite like, if I had Pickford in my team at the moment, I wouldn't have a problem with that at all. What about Chilwell? So I've been asked this a lot about what do I think of Chelsea defenders generally. So as a Chelsea fan, I do my best to be impartial on the matter, but I have to look at Koulibaly, Cucurella, and Chilwell are probably the 3 names that I get asked the most about. That left-hand side will rotate. I can't advise picking either Cucurella or Chilwell. Like, one of them might start both of the next 2, but that same player has equal chance of starting neither of the next 2 as well. I like Koulibaly. He's probably the most nailed. He started all of the past 3 games, but it's not impossible that we see a Thiago Silva Chalobah back 2, for example, Azpilicueta filling in at centre-back for 1 game, or they put Cucurella at centre-back with Chilwell left-back. Like, these things are very possible to do. If I had to buy a Chelsea defender, I would go and buy Koulibaly because he's also going to be the most nailed long-term as well. But I just don't think I would do it. Villa away, Brentford away. We keep a clean sheet in one of those 2. Absolutely fine. But you've got a 50% chance that your defender doesn't play in those games. I feel like the Chelsea defence is really hard to predict. Now, Bourbon Legend FX, thank you for the comment. He's mentioned Kepa. Now, again, I was very, very fortunate to be invited onto the Off the Bench Premier League podcast this week. And I posted a voice clip on my Twitter about my thoughts on Kepa. I really like Kepa. If you're looking for a goalkeeper at the moment, although I'm not really sure any of us with the injuries are making goalkeeper transfers, would be Kepa at the moment at 4.4 million. I really, really like him as a potential option. The caveat to it was only do it if you have Danny Ward as your backup. There is a chance that between now and the World Cup, Mendy gets a game, for example, or a couple of games. If you have a backup who you know is not going to play, like you've got Iverson or you've got a Begovic, for example, then I wouldn't go and buy Kepa into your team. But if you have a backup who you think is going to be on the pitch in case your starting goalkeeper doesn't start, then I have absolutely nothing against going and buying Kepa. Do I really think defensive transfers are worth it at the moment? No, because there's so many flags. There's blank game weeks coming up. I wouldn't do it personally. But if you are looking for a goalkeeper in your circumstances, then absolutely go and do it. Harry, is a dirty decision because of Paul O'Keefe? I'm worried he gets it wrong. It's not because of Paul O'Keefe. Like, his prediction is that he starts both of the next two. So my first comment is, I don't imagine there are many people in the chat who thinks then he's not going to start this weekend, right? Against Everton at home, didn't play in the Champions League, was pretty good last time out as well. I can't see a situation where Doherty doesn't start this week. And if he's not going to start, if he's going to start this week, then I've got a chance that he starts against United as well, where I personally think he does. Even before the Paul O'Keefe news, I sort of comment where he said, yes, I do think he will. So, oh, Carl, I also knew that you went home Sunday. Don't worry. Don't worry. Don't worry. LT Rapper, thoughts on Ben White or Saliba? I've got cover for the blank. Leeds away this week is never a fixture you predict a clean sheet in, so no, I'd rather go and get like a Duncan then who's good for the blank, or Matt Doherty if you've got cover for the blank, for example. So yeah, defensively it is Doherty if you don't need him past game week 12. It's then Dunk or Guehi, depending on who you don't have cover for game weeks 11 and game weeks 12. If you need them for this week as well, and you're going to start them this week, then it's Dunk. And if you're not going to start them this week, and then you want them for game week 12 and onwards, then it's probably Guehi. So, thoughts on Man United defence. So, Dallo is fine, probably the one that I would look at, but Newcastle at home, Tottenham at home, it's two games that I look at and think, do I think you're going to keep a clean sheet in either of those? I'm going to have to predict that it's going to be a no in either of those at the moment. So, yeah. Long term, maybe, like if you look at Manchester United, the last three are not bad, but I don't see a clean sheet in the next three for United. I'd be surprised. Am I hiding my transfers this week? Also, thoughts on going James and Mitrovic out for Webster and Darwin. Prefer Darwin as Liverpool fans. He's getting better chances. He does look good, and I quite like Webster. I'm not hiding my transfers. I just have not made them yet. I have not decided, and I tend to leave it later in the stream in case there's any final news. There's no point me making a transfer now in case an hour before the deadline we get news that there's something else that I need to pay attention to in my team. If the deadline was tomorrow morning and there was price changes tonight, then yeah, maybe I'd make them. But right now, there's absolutely no reason for me to make them for at least like probably an hour. I do have transfer plans. Those of you asking in the chat about my potential transfer plans. Again, guys, if you could like the stream, we are so close to if we could hit 500 likes on the stream, that would be fantastic. That would be, yeah, great. It's completely free to do. It really helps support the stream as well. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. But my transfer plans for this week, I think I'm going to do Trent out to Matt Doherty is my plan. Again, I've been banging on about him for as much of the stream as I can at the moment, and I will play a 3-4-3 and I will probably bench Reece James. I may even do Reece James to Lewis Dunk or Webster as well, because I'm pretty certain I'm going to want them as cover for game week 12 as well. That will then mean that next week I have one transfer and my team currently looks like this. That will be my Game Week 12 team with one free transfer in the bank. De Bruyne will go to either Leandro Trossard or to Mo Salah if I am impressed with his positioning, particularly his positioning in the Manchester City game. If he is back central, then yeah, I'll be looking heavily at Mo Salah. You want to bring Salah for Leeds? I don't think Arsenal will keep a clean sheet this week. Then, Game Week 13, I will have the choice. With 4 million in the bank, like, it's a lot of money in the bank because we've sold Reece James and we will have sold Trent, to go and do Andreas Pereira up to either Saka or Phil Foden. Saka or Phil Foden, and then I could also potentially sell Maddison or Zaha. Maddison and get the other one of the two in or something like that. Game week 13 will be how do I get back onto Man City and Arsenal attack. But that's the plan at the moment. I will then line up with something like, it depends if I think Doherty's going to play that one. If I don't think he's going to play, which I probably don't. The only thing is with Webster's fixtures, like its defense looks pretty rough that week. But Trippier's ownership is like crazy high anyway, so I'll probably just play Trippier like something like that. Or if I don't think Doherty's going to start, then no. My day has been really good, thank you. As it turns out, we discovered in last week's stream the two best ways to get me to answer your question. I answer as many as I can, and we'll do a quick fire round of questions now where I answer as many in a short period of time as possible. Is to tell me that I'm ignoring you, or to pay me a compliment. Both work. Both ends of the spectrum. Be nasty to me or be really nice to me. Seems to work is what the chat found out. Last week. So let's do that quick fire round of questions now. Again, if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel and like the stream as well. I won't go for Kane. It just doesn't fit my transfers anymore. I would need to get him in this week, but I don't plan on doing it because I've got defensive transfers I need to make. Will I play Trossard? If I get Trossard for game week 12, definitely I'm 50-50 on whether I'm going to get him. It's between him and Mo Salah. When to free hit? Please don't free hit in game week 12. If you've got 8 players, do not free hit in game week 12. It's just not worth it at all. Save it for the second half of the season. You'll be really grateful for it. Everyone get into Harry's tier groups. We'll do that in a minute. You love your hair, Dunk or Webster? I'd probably go Webster. I'm starting to favour Webster a little bit more out of the two, looking at some of the underlying numbers before a stream started. Doherty for James or Justin? I'd go Doherty for me. Am I confident Doherty plays over Perisic on the right? Yeah, Perisic on the right is not a good choice. Doherty is better option than Perisic on the right. You're a lovely guy, Harry. Thanks. Perisic in for James. I don't know why people would pick Perisic over Doherty at the moment. Perisic, well, I know, I do get it. But I think there's a chance that Perisic doesn't start against Man United. But he might play both of the next two. He might go Doherty, Perisic in both of them. He might do it in both of them. I'm just going for the cheaper option. Castagna for James. Castagna's not a bad option, but I just don't like the Leicester defence very much. Can you do a deeper into why not to free hit? Yes, I will do it. Give me 1 minute to do these questions and then I will. I've actually got a notepad here and I've just written down free hit ? And I will answer that in a minute. Any update on Mitrovic? So basically he's training with the group. There is a test tomorrow. I personally think he'll be on the bench tomorrow and start in game week 12. My captain for game week 12, I am not sure yet. If I bring Salah in or Trossard in, it may be those two going into that week. Is Neco Williams not starting? So Neco Williams, if you guys have Neco Williams, I would not be selling him. Here is the reason why. I personally think Neco Williams will start in game week 12. Aurier does not look fit enough to play 90 minutes, let alone 3 games in a week. If Neco Williams is not, if Aurier is not fit enough to start 3 games in a week, that midweek game is perfect for them to give him a rest, which is where I think Neco Williams might get a start. I definitely wouldn't take a hit for Neco Williams. Trippier or Doherty? If I had to buy one, I'd buy Trippier, but to start this week, Doherty. Pope or Ward this week? I mean, I guess you'd go Ward, but I would go Pope. I just don't like that lesser defence, and they also make no saves at all. So like every goal they conceded just goes down. What changes am I making? I think I'm going to buy Matt Doherty this week. To be confirmed. I could still go Dunk as well, or Webster as well. You're a very handsome lad. This is great for my confidence, this. If I ever need a boost. Should I transfer Saliba for Guehi this week? And bring in Guehi? No, I just keep Saliba this week because Saliba's fixture is equally as interesting from a defensive point of view. So I just play Saliba this week and then maybe go Guehi next week. Captain Kane or Haaland, I would just be on Haaland. Start Mitro or Andreas, I'd start Mitrovic. Diego Costa or Welbeck, I'd go Welbeck. Just because a Wolves team that scores 3 goals so far this season, I just don't want to buy an attacker from that team. It sounds obvious and it sounds really simple, but buy players from teams that score lots of goals. It's really obvious, I know, but don't buy players and forwards from teams that struggle to score, because then chances are you'll get less points. My current rank is right here, 20,000 in the world, actually just inside, but I got a very, very small green arrow from like 20,000 to 20,000 to like 19,000 this week. So start Guehi on Neco Williams. I'd probably play Neco, well, but Neco Williams isn't going to start though, but I don't fancy Guehi this week, so I'd probably go Neco Williams, take the chance he start. When will Spurs free Jed Spence? Not yet, I don't think. When are you going to be locked in? I just want to wait to see if there's any news potentially between now and the deadline on Brighton lineup or anything like that. Like if Lamptey's going to start, it'd be crazy. I would go and buy Lamptey, I think. But to in Castagna or Andreas. I'd play Andreas this week if you can. Love the hair. -4 for Webster this week or next. -4s for defenders are just not worth it. So next week. You're a beautiful man. Also Gaeta or Ward to start. We can stop with the compliments thing. Like I'm going to get to the questions. Sorry, what was it? Oh, I've lost it. There was a super chat from Scott. Well, yes, Guehi or Neco Williams. Thank you so much for the super chat, Scott. And Ellis, thank you so much for the Scooby snack for this. Oh no. Thoughts on Tosin Adebayo? Great fixtures over the next 2. True, and he's not bad going forward. I just think I still don't back Fulham defensively, whoever they're playing as well. Cool. We're going to do some more rapid fire questions, but just what's going on? Just for you guys in the chat who are super chatting and anyone considering it, I do have 2 tiers of membership. Base tier, $1.99 a month, gets you all the priority comments in the chat. I will answer all of your comments in the stream and on the video for just £1.99 a month. Tier 2 gets you all of that and the members group chat as well, including myself and all the other members. That group chat is so much fun. And then you get all these emojis and the badges up there with more emojis to come as well. So if you are considering, thanks so much for the super chats, but basically unlimited super chats for just $1.99 a month. What's my transfers for now? I think I'm going to be doing Doherty in for Trent Alexander-Arnold. That is the potential transfers that I have on making. So worth it, says Carl. A few of you heading off. Again, there's still an hour and a half until the deadline, but before anyone goes, if you haven't already, make sure you are subscribed to the channel. So back to the questions. James and Emerson out for Webster and Doherty. Yeah, I like those moves quite a lot, actually. Yes, I would do that. Great self-promo, Harry. Thanks. I mean, yeah. You like my hoodie? It's actually new, so I appreciate it. I bought it as part of my new winter wardrobe. Gray or Castagna? I would play Castagna this week. He has the attacking threat, so at least you have another route to points. Despite I think that both teams will probably score in that game. Tony, he's fine to keep. I wouldn't be buying Tony. Brentford don't look necessarily like a team full of goals at the moment, but I don't think that... But if they score, Tony is very likely to be involved. So Tony falls into the hold category for me at the moment. How many hits is too many in order to get a starting 11 next week? It depends if those transfers benefit you generally long term. I would say I wouldn't want to take more than a -8 next week. But I'd also want those transfers to benefit me long term. Am I benching Trippier? No, Trippier will come in for Trent. or Reece James. Trippier will come in off the bench. So yes, I will not, in theory, not benching Trippier. Would I start Trippier or Andreas? That's quite an interesting benching dilemma. I would be going with Trippier. Trippier away at United or Andreas at home to Bournemouth. That's really close. I would think I'd probably favour the fixture and go Andreas. I'd go Andreas if I was making that call. It's pretty close though, but I'd go Andreas. Start Andreas or McAllister. Probably McAllister. I think he's more consistent in terms of points. James should be a yellow. I don't know if you listened to a different press conference than the rest of us today, but Reece James is a red because the chance of him playing this weekend is 0. Red doesn't necessarily mean he's out for a long time, but it means playing this game week, nada. Chance of him playing, de nada. Trent and Soufal out for Doherty and Trippier. Again, like, they seem really good moves. Trippier in this week, like, doesn't make loads of sense for the fixture that he's got, but generally long term, it's a move that you'll be happy that you made. Hey Harry, buy Martinelli. Only 2 Man City Arsenal players or Trossard. To be honest, I'd probably buy Trossard for the next 2. And then even like if you are having a better bench next week, fine. Trossard is better over the next 2 than Martinelli plus the other player you might be considering starting. So yeah, I would be going in for Trossard over Martinelli, but I wouldn't sell Martinelli to Trossard if you've only got 2 other blank players next week. Effectively is what I would do, depending on how many you need next week. Thoughts on Jared Bowen? So the issue with West Ham is that Liverpool fixture, but going forward they look good and Bowen potentially be on penalties. I'm not sure I would be buying Bowen at the moment. I'm not sure he's top of my buy list in midfield at the moment, but I think it will be like, I think it's I think he's a fine hold. He's not a bad buy. But come game week 13, he's probably not going to be top of your buys either. And given he plays Liverpool next week, I'm not loving it. Those of you asking for a wild card in game week 11, go and watch my game week preview video. There is one at the very end of it. It does have Reece James in as the only flagged player in it. So you can just downgrade Reece James to Doherty and go with that team. Carl, are you asking for the blue badge or the blue like mod icon? Both of which are possible. Members do get considered for mods as well if they've been members for a while. I know I can trust you guys in the chat. You have to play Webster or Guehi this week. Webster. I just can't see Leicester not scoring this week, to be honest. Cannot see Webster not... losing my words. Can't see them Leicester not scoring this week. Can't see Webster not scoring, then I should be buying him. But no, can't see Leicester not scoring. Do I think Neko plays this week, or should I put Guehi before him in the subs? I'd probably put I'd probably put Neko Williams ahead of him just in case he does start, because I'm not sure he will, but I prefer him over the Guehi potential points this week. Tarek Mo, welcome. Should I switch out James or Neko for Doherty? I don't have Trent. James, definitely. Neko Williams, I think, has a decent chance of starting in game week 12. So I would be holding on to him. Hey, brother, you're watching for the first time. Your content is very good. What are my current transfer plans? Welcome to anyone new. This is the first time finding my channel. My transfer plans is Trent to Matt Doherty of Spurs. Is my potential move that I think I'm going to make. I may also do James to like Dunk, but I think I'd probably bench Dunk and play Trippier. Anyway, James is going to fall in price today, so I may just do it today anyway. Dunk is probably not going to rise. Webster probably not going to rise. Veltman not going to rise, but James is going to fall. And James could fall again yesterday. Get on chat. Get on membership chat. Totally worth it. Appreciate it. Yes, I am considering, doing the second transfer today as well. Not 100% sold on if I will or not, but that's the plan for the moment anyway. So let me, again, as we get slightly closer to the deadline, we are going to put it on subscriber only mode. You literally have to just hit the button and that's all. I'm going to put the slow mode down as well as I do it, so that's fine. So thoughts on Zuma over or Dalot? The Zuma fixture next week is enough for me to not want to be buying a West Ham defender at the moment. Plus he kicks cats, so yeah. I would be going and getting Dalot out of the two. Will price changes ever before the deadline? No. So they'll take place tonight. They take place about 1 a.m. every evening. So if the deadline's at 6, then you get another additional round of transfers, in theory this evening, that will impact price changes tonight, which is why a Friday deadline often means there's a lot of price changes, because you've got people who make the transfers before the deadline that then contribute to it, and then you've got people who make transfers after the deadline that contribute to it. Dalot has 4 yellow cards. Does he? I mean, he might get one this weekend, so I probably wouldn't be buying him then, but I wouldn't be buying Zuma either. So go for Guehi, Dunk, Doherty. 3 defenders that you want to buy at the moment. Guehi, Dunk, Doherty. Jen, your choice of emojis is fantastic. Rahul Rao, thank you so much for the super chat. Best replacement for Soufal James, currently on Trippier, Patterson, James, Soufal and Cancelo in defence. Any suggestions keeping the blank game week in mind? Depends. So who have you got? There's no... So it's Guehi, it is Guehi, Webster and Doherty. By two of those 3. Effectively. If I had to choose, I'd probably ditch the Brighton option. I'd probably go Guehi, Doherty if I was picking out of the 2. So yeah. New fan here, Harry. Thank you, Ewan, for joining. Hope anyone new is enjoying the stream. Yeah, welcome. As a Chelsea fan, is Koulibaly nailed? Nailed, no. The most nailed defender we have, yes. Potter's shown that he's not afraid of rotating, and I don't think Koulibaly is immune to that, but yeah. He's probably the most nailed we've got. I've got 2 free transfers, I do. So I could just do Trent and James out. I could just do both this week. It literally basically doesn't make any impact. In theory, if one of the others, like Doherty, misses out completely, then maybe I'm better off doing it, but yes. Is Doherty nailed? I think so, because Emerson Royale is suspended for the next 2 games. Doherty also... Doherty also didn't start in the Champions League the other night as well. Need all your subs for game week 12. If Madison gets booked tomorrow, would I sell? I would consider it. But then, yeah, Wolves away, City at home, Everton away is not easy. If he picks up a yellow card, I'll probably do a -4, which is like De Bruyne to Salah, Madison to Trossard. I think is what I do. Don't I think Dunk will play more than Doherty? Yes. Long term, yes. Which is why I'm going to end up buying both. But Doherty short term for the next 2 games. I've got a weak team, I feel like, this week. And I need a player in there who has the potential to turn that bad game week that I feel like I'm going to have into a good game week. A Dunk is not going to do that. A Doherty at home to Everton has the potential, has real potential to do that. So that's part of the reason I want him. I need that explosive asset in my team at the moment. But replace Diaz with Bowen or Mount or other. I would be going with I'd just go Bowen. I still don't love Mount. Again, the rotation was there. We've seen it. Chance he drops out over one of the next 3 as well. I don't think I would be going and buying Mason Mount at the moment. As much as I love him, I wouldn't be going and buying him at the moment. Replace James with Guehi or Brighton defender. Let me get the... The fixtures are so even. Have a look after game week 12 which of the fixtures you're going to need this player for. If it fits that rotating a Brighton defender fits your squad better, then go for the Brighton player. If it fits less Palace better, go for him. If it really is 50-50, I would probably just about back Brighton. But it's so close. So yeah. One sec. You're looking well rested. Thanks. The compliments can stop. Don't worry. I appreciate everyone still going with their compliments in the chat, but I've had enough now. I'm getting a bit big for my boots. Should I play Guehi or Webster? Should you play Guehi or Webster? Webster this week. Your volume is full, but I got no headphones and your voice sounds kind of far. Come close to the mic. Is it quiet for other people? Do I need to... Is it quiet for other people or do I need to talk up? Is that better? So that too loud now? It's going to be a little bit of ASMR. No, it's okay. Fine. Volume's good. Cool. Cool. Wolves defender, I wouldn't buy. They're not top of my list at the moment. Anyone with headphones, I really apologise. That's probably really loud in your ears. When am I going to confirm? That was really loud. That was really loud. There is no change for awesomeness or... There's no charge for awesomeness or attractiveness. You get one of those in this stream. I'll let you decide which it is. The ASMR was a bit too accurate. No. Fine. What's my current plan for my defenders? Yeah, so I'm pretty certain that it's going to be Trent out to Matt Doherty and it's going to be James out to Dunk. I don't know if I'm going to do the James transfer before the deadline or after it, but I'll probably have to do it tonight for price changes anyway, so I may as well end up doing it before, but I'm not 100% certain I'm going to do it. So maybe like Brighton play tonight, you see, so like I could wait in case Dunk gets injured and I'll get to see that game tonight, and then I could go Webster, or I could go Webster if Webster gets injured, then I could go Dunk. If that fixture wasn't tonight, then I would definitely do it before the deadline. It just gives me an extra game to be able to watch. Shamaka or Mitrovic for game week 11-12. Well, that's really tough because Shamaka's... I'd probably go Mitrovic because I actually think they're both going to start one game. Am I 100% on Doherty? I'd say I'm 90% sure. Mohammed... Alotia, thank you so much for the super chat. Is a -4 worth it for Kane to Tony? Don't sell Kane. Absolutely do not sell Kane. If you're buying Kane, still not worth it. So no. Thank you for the super chat. Again, a reminder, for the price of that super chat, you could get a top tier membership on the channel. Would get you unlimited super chats on every stream for a month and access to our group chat where I answer questions you have Monday to Friday and Saturday and Sunday. So 7 days a week, not just when streams are live. But I appreciate it. Thank you. Again, does the sub sound, does that sound play through? Yeah, no, everyone's don't do it. Do not do that transfer. Either way, for a -4. Cool, let me put my team back up for now. Did Paul O'Keefe tweet his actual predicted lineup? There's no Kulusevski as well for them. It plays a jaunty little tune. Nice. Did he... it's Frankfurt. There's no for this weekend. I know he's not always right, but... Oof, you did De Bruyne to Foden and Mitrovic to Kane for -4. I don't hate that, Aaron. Because Mitrovic, I don't think is going to start this weekend. So Kane at home to Everton is not bad. De Bruyne to Foden. If Foden's on that left-hand side against Milner and Gomez, Foden could have an absolute field day. Absolute field day. So, like the stream, you have Rashford. Should I keep? Yeah, I would keep for now. Returns have not been great, but maybe next week, if he doesn't do anything this week, then next week you look while he's got Spurs. You potentially go and have a look at the likes of Trossard in your midfield as well if you want to. He did say Doherty starts the next two, but he hasn't given that predicted lineup. But it presumably means that he thinks Doherty's gonna start and he will be in that lineup anyway. But sub sound is good. You can hear it. Wouldn't put it past Pep not to play Haaland and something crazy. No, he's not that crazy. Pep's not that crazy. Even Pep wouldn't do that. Cooley was such a troll this season. Yeah, he started so well. I had him at times last season and he was equally a troll, but at least the points came sporadically. These emojis have been used to good effect so far this stream, particularly these two. I need to get a Haaland. Oh, I've got a Haaland emoji. Love it. Prince Adu, thank you for subscribing. Ward or Sanchez in goal? Sanchez, definitely. Sanchez, definitely. Cool. So let me show you my transfer plans again. This is a website called FPL.team. You literally, just FPL.team, like it says there. All you have to do is just put your team ID in and it will give you your team and you can see what it looks like in the next game week. So if I click next, it changes the game week. My bit's high up there. Cool. So my potential transfers are this week to go Trent to Matt Doherty. And then next week to go Reece James, who's injured unfortunately, to Lewis Dunk for Nottingham Forest at home. For that one, it's this guy's week. Sonny. Maybe it is. You'd think we'll play Gomez right back and Kanate centre back, but apparently Kanate didn't train today, which doesn't bode well for that Liverpool defence. It is my interpretation of what I saw today, which if that is the case, then that would mean that right-hand side is really weak. Connor. But yes, Kanate will start if he's fit. So then I'll do Duncan next week, and this will leave me still one player short. And then my plan is to do Kevin De Bruyne to either Salah or Trossard. And that will give me 11 next week. Also, Harry, next week you're definitely going to have to take a -4 getting James out. Who would you take the -4 now? It depends if you need that player this week. Would you start that player this week? If not, then no. But Tuchels, thank you very much for joining as a Vice Captain member. You get basically unlimited super chats because I will always answer your questions in the chat, and you get your emojis and badges to use as well. Thank you for joining. Who am I playing in goal this week? I will be playing Gaeta again. I don't rotate my goalkeepers unless it's a really clear and obvious fixture between the two of them. We saw it last week, even despite the fixture, that the save points are there for Gaeta. Ward is just like 2 if he concedes. When he concedes, he gets 2. He concedes again, he gets 1. And if he concedes 2 more, he gets 0. At least with Gaeta, it's like, oh, he conceded 1, he gets 2. Oh, he got a few saves, it goes up to 3. Oh, he conceded a few more, it goes down to 2 again. Like, you have that balance with Gaeta. Like, you have save points and bonus with him. You just don't get it with Ward. So, yeah. So, yes, we've got 1 hour until the deadline as well. Thank you all for joining. Again, if you have not already, make sure you've liked the stream. Subscribe to the channel as well. We are 50 subscribers away from our goal for today, which is great. Thank you all. If I go for Salah, do I plan on going for Foden? Yes, I still have loads of money in the bank. These 2 defensive transfers of James and Trent out just frees up a whole wealth of money at the moment. So yes, I do plan on still going for Foden. And I'll need more Arsenal players in Game Week 13 as well. So replace Mitrovic with Solanke and play Solanke, Haaland and Tony. If you've got no other injury issues and you want to sell Mitrovic this week, then fine. I don't necessarily think it's a top priority because I think he'll start in midweek. If that money that you're freeing up allows you to do something else, then fine. But apart from that, no. Greater or David Raya. Raya. I think that Brighton Brentford game could be quite low scoring out of the 2. So yeah. Will Doherty start? I'd be surprised if he doesn't. And I think I'm going to buy him. So yeah, I'd be really, really surprised if he doesn't end up starting. So yes. My route to Foden. So just to go back on FPL.team, I have 3.9 in the bank. So actually my plan is to do Andreas to Foden. Which actually is a big upgrade. It does mean I'll have a potential benching headache every week going into my attack, but I can bench Dominic Solanke every week. That's fine. I'll just do like that week. First week I'll bench. First week I will bench Solanke. Then next week, sorry, I do my best not to click. I have turned tap on my mouse so you don't have to hear it the whole time. So then the next week, yeah, potentially I'll bench him again. I could start Solanke over Maddison, but I'll probably be looking to get like Saka in at this point anyway. So yeah, like Saka could come in for Maddison anyway that week for Nottingham Forest at home. So something like that is my potential future transfer plans. This team then looks like it's lined up really well. I've got so many defenders and I just play 3 of them every week. I play Cancelo and Trippier most weeks and then just add one of them onto the end depending on who I think. If Doherty's going to start and if he's not going to start, then I'll pick one of the other two set on my bench in Dunk and in Gehi. So, like I said earlier, Trent to Trippier is confirmed, but then my second transfer, should I do Doherty for Neco Williams or Doherty for James? I would sell James definitely, because James is not going to play in Game Week 12. Neco Williams could start in Game Week 12, or at least get you a point. But yeah, James is not going to. Tuckles, hi, thanks for the awesome content. No worries, happy to support the channel. I appreciate it so much. Welcome. I hope you do enjoy. Aren't you concerned perhaps that Perisic, Doherty and Session rotate? Perisic may move to the right and Doherty miss out. Perisic on the right was one of the worst performances I've seen from a wing back in a Conte system in months, in years. It did not work. So yes. I would be surprised if that happened. I would be very surprised if Doherty starts Newcastle in Game Week 13. But I think we'll start both of the next 2. And if the off chance that he does get benched in 12, then so be it. But I think not. Jesus news. I don't know if we actually got any. Was he in the squad for Arsenal midweek? I'm not sure we've got... Did we get any Jesus news? Was he in the squad? Or was he in the squad? Because I know there was a thing about him not training, but... Good question. What was there? If you guys watched the Arsenal game last night, the Arsenal goal was hilarious. In off Saka's face. No, so he wasn't even on the bench. He wasn't even on the bench. He's fit, says Solly. Thank you. Let me just check. Cool. He says everyone's saying he's absolutely fine. Cool. Hayes is fine and fit. He was just rested due to lots of fixtures. Saka kissed it for the goal. The goal was hilarious. Just rested. Perfect. Dunk or Webster. Save the money. Just go 0.1 down for Webster if you need them tonight, to be honest. That goal threat is so similar. Doherty or Dunk? Doherty if you need one this week as well. But Dunk is probably better longer term and more easy to predict when he's going to start because he plays every week, whereas Doherty will not. I suppose it depends what the rest of your defence looks like. Doherty is a 2-week punt for me. And then I have 3 weeks between now and then on the World Cup where 3 weeks? 13, 14, 4 weeks where I just play him if I think he's going to start. Like that Bournemouth away fixture could be perfect for him. Worth selling Justin for Doherty or roll the transfer? Justin for Doherty or roll the transfer? I wouldn't sell Justin for Doherty. I'd roll definitely. You also have James. So why not do James to Doherty, or would you bench Justin? Paul O'Keefe expecting Perisic to start. Yeah, because he didn't play in the Champions League. But he's also expecting Doherty to start as well. Predicted lineup for Spurs. And this has been only a prediction over the past few weeks. Thank you, Ahmed, for letting me know that this is out. He looks like he's going back to a front three, which is not good for Perisic, right? A few things to look out when you see these. Perisic is starting, but it's not good for Son. I definitely wouldn't be bringing in... I don't think I'd be bringing in Son this week. I'm not sure I'd be captaining Son this week, given this lineup. Perisic in is not good for Son. It's not bad for Perisic. Set pieces and all that. But yes, predicted lineup. What is going on up there? What is going on? So, hi Harry. Start Justin or Guehi. I'd play Guehi again. Harry, do not forget the red timer. This one. I made it green. It goes with the colour scheme a little bit better. I am in the process of upgrading this. It probably won't be done until the World Cup. But Boxing Day stream, or whenever the game week deadline is for game week 17 after the World Cup, this will look completely different. Big upgrade as well. Looking forward to it. There will still be content over the World Cup as well, though. Don't you worry. Is anyone in the chat planning on playing World Cup Fantasy? Again, just let me know yes or no or not sure in the chat. Like, would you watch content over or watch videos over the World Cup, even if you weren't playing? But yeah, just let me know. I am still planning on doing FPL and World Cup. A bit of a variety of stuff is the plan at the moment. Would I go for James to Dyer or Guehi and Addison to Trossard for -4? Would James to Dyer or Guehi and Anderson to Trossard for -4? I'm not sure. I just don't back Dyer as a pick right now. I do. Guehi and Anderson, I don't quite know what the second transfer is, but I don't like Dyer as a pick. You're not playing it. Yes, yes, yes. Nope. Nope. A bit mixed, as I thought it would be. Yeah, it does exist. There will be a World Cup fantasy game. There will be, yes. Any news on Zuma illness? No, I don't think we got any. Won't play. We'll probably watch some because I'll be betting for sure. Yes, World Cup fantasy for sure. Love it. Yeah, definitely. You're enjoying the UCL one at the moment. Yes, fair. Start Andreas over Mitrovic. No, I'll be on Mitrovic. What's happened to the text on Mitrovic's name? Why is the whole line in bold and then the C? I mean, there's a tiny little thing, but someone's forgot to make all the letters bold. They've highlighted it and you miss one letter. Can I see your team late to stream? Yeah, this is my team. I haven't made my transfers yet, but I'm pretty set. Especially, to be honest, now that Paul O'Keefe's lineup is out, I can make my first transfer. Because I'm pretty certain I'm going to bring Doherty into my team. Pretty certain of it. When are all the matches this weekend? Spurs is tomorrow at 5:30. Then Sunday we've got Chelsea, we've got Arsenal. I've got one player there, none there, one in there, none in there, 3 in there. Is Perisic a shout then? Perisic is not a bad buy, but I just have slight doubt on whether he's going to start midweek, and I think Doherty has a better chance of starting in game week 12 when we're going to need both of them. Greetings, hello Nuclear, how are we doing? Finished eating dinner and it's time to lay back into some FPL action. Well, we've got it all for you here. Is Romero a better option than Doherty till game week 16? If you need a player who's actually going to know that you're going to play every week, then Romero definitely. But the attacking threat that I think we might get for Doherty over the next two is we know what he did when he was fit before and firing at the end of last season. Why don't I transfer both this week? Because I don't plan on starting Dunk or Webster this week, and the Brighton game is tonight. So I can make the transfer tonight after that anyway, before the price changes, and get an extra game in case there's an injury or something like that. When am I going to make my transfers? Deadline is near. It's exactly 50 minutes away. 15 minutes away. Dire set piece threat. Slightly. Although before this season, he had no set piece threat. So he had no set piece threat before this week. The only other thing to bear in mind, and again, one of the best parts of Fantasy Football Fix that I do use is there's something called a rotation planner. It's basically said, it basically helps you, it looks at the best rotation options for between now and like a certain point. So if I know that I'm going to have Guehi, so I'm going to have a Crystal Palace defender, so I lock him in. I know if I go for a Spurs defender, I can lock him in. It tells me who's the best other option to go with. It's actually saying Brentford, but they play Chelsea at home next week. So I don't like Brentford, so I can deselect Brentford. Leeds, Leicester away is not ideal and they don't defend that well. West Ham as well. Let me go. I might go Wolves. I could go Newcastle. I could bring in Botman next week as well. That is the other potential transfer that I could go with. Botman in next week. I could also go United. Liverpool could work, but Gomez, it depends how long Trent's out for. So again, a little bit of why I might want to wait is because I might get news on how long Trent's out for. Forest I don't want. Southampton I don't want. Everton I could buy, but Fulham I don't want. Bournemouth I don't want. Villa potentially. Arsenal I don't want, and Chelsea I don't want, and Leicester I don't want. So it says in theory the best one to go with is Brighton. I can bench him in the next 4 effectively, and then play him in 15 and 16 when there are difficult fixtures for the other two around him effectively. It's a really useful site. Anyone see who Harry is captaining? Haaland. What makes me... so Emerson is suspended for the next 2. So he's suspended for 11 and 12. Doherty didn't play Champions League midweek as well. So just all things aligning that I think Doherty will start the next 2. You still have your wild card. How would I suggest I use it? Game week 13. If any of you have... This looks great. I need to get my green screen fixed. Yeah, if you've still got your wild card left, game week 13 is the week to play it. Sell the likes of your Man City assets, your Arsenal assets, if you need to, going into game week 12. And then game week 13, you can wild card and buy back triple Man City, triple Arsenal going into their fixture run. No one without a wild card will be able to do that. That is 100% the week that you should be playing your wild card. So yes, target that game week 13. Cool. Just checking if there's any news or anything that I need to report to you guys. Kante to miss the World Cup. Wow. He's set to be out for 3 months with a hamstring issue. That is big news. That is big news. It looks like we are going to be without N'Golo Kante until the new year, effectively now. Chelsea are going to go big for Declan Rice. It might even be in January. It will be next summer, and I'm very certain that Declan Rice to Chelsea will happen. The injuries that Kovacic and Kante are now suffering, and the length of them, means I don't think we'll go much longer without signing a permanent player in that one. For the person who's asking whether or not to start Mitro, Harry is starting him, but make sure you have a good first sub in case he doesn't play. Agreed. I'm starting. I'm starting him over Andreas. Andreas, it doesn't set the world alight for me, even when he does start. And I think there's a chance Mitrovic starts. So I'm playing it this way around. I'm playing it this way around. Am I putting KDB out? No, I'm putting KDB in. Vice captain wise, I don't quite know. Maybe I'll leave it on De Bruyne. But I don't expect Haaland not to play. But yeah, I'm going to leave it like this. I am a Chelsea fan indeed. Yes. Sorry if you've already discussed this, but it's on a potential captaincy pick. So, Paul O'Keefe's predicted lineup for Tottenham includes Son. So, first off, that's a good thing. It includes him. He's predicted to start. But it also includes Perisic. Something I spoke about in my Off the Bench podcast again this week. If you haven't listened to it, you can check that out. Although, between now and the deadline, you don't have much time. You're best off in the stream. Thank you, Duncan. Thank you to all the new subscribers as well. Sorry, but Perisic starting is not good for Son. And Son starting in a front three with Perisic on the pitch is not good for Son. It's not good for his positioning. He will not be on set pieces as well. This was enough. If I had Son in my team and I saw this, I would not captain him effectively. Kappa price rise incoming. For all that chat I've given him, I think I hold myself accountable for that. But yes, thoughts on Kane captain? I don't hate it, but I'm just not sure with the Liverpool injuries in defence that I would really be wanting to do it now. Doherty or Brighton defender to the World Cup? Do you think Doherty is nailed? I don't think Doherty is nailed after game week 12. So if you need them long term, then go elsewhere. Then go for Brighton defender. If you have the luxury like me that you can potentially play the likes of Guehi and your other defenders, then fine. But Kane, get rid of James for Doherty, and then game week 12, Neco out for Webster. I actually think Neco Williams is going to start game week 12, so I wouldn't be selling him. But if you wanted to, then yeah. Harry, someone is asking who would do for Kane out, Mitro or Tony. If I had to sell one, of Mitro and Tony to get Kane, that's a really good question. Let me get the fixtures up because I want to answer this really, really carefully because that is a good one. Let me get the FDR up. So it's Fulham, Villa at home, then where's Brentford? Villa, Wolves, Forest. I would go and sell Mitrovic. I think there's a slight doubt in my mind, of course, about the minutes that he's going to get. So I would, do it that way around. How's Kepa as a first choice goalkeeper? Absolutely fine if you can bench. If you've got Ward on your bench. Harry, what's the plan? So again, to go back to my transfer plans, again, thank you all so much for watching, spending your Friday evening here. Hope you're all well. And all the new subscribers as well. There have been so many flashing up during the stream. Appreciate it. Free hit game week 12 or save it. Save it, definitely. Save it, definitely. Why didn't you think to get Kane in? So it was in my transfers and I could have done it if I'd have gone De Bruyne out this week, like a Mitrovic out, and go and get Kane in and a midfielder in. But unfortunately, I have transfers. I have to use my defence. So would be taking a -4 or a -8 to get Kane in this weekend. That then doesn't become worth it. So are we better replacing James with a Wolves or Brighton defender this week? Wolves or Brighton defender. Brighton are better this week. So I would be buying, Webster probably. Start Trippier or Guehi. Trippier definitely. And Andrew, Andre, welcome to the stream. Welcome to the stream, Andre. Please upload your team fast before 10 minutes. I have not nailed on my second transfer, so we still got 40 minutes to go. We still got so much time to go between now and the deadline, so no stress. FPL Focal has bought Eric Dyer as his Tottenham defender. He obviously wants a more nailed route into that Spurs defence, which is absolutely fine. I do not blame him at all. Maybe I should do that. If there wasn't a suspension for Emerson Royale, I probably would. Well, I'd probably be on Romero actually. Game week 14, Crystal Palace have Southampton at home, so I don't necessarily mind not having a Spurs option that week. And game week 16, I also don't mind because Palace have Forest away. So I could easily play them, or I could play my Brighton defender, who I'm hoping to buy next week against Villa. So to be honest, I don't mind. Again, not having the long-term option of Matt Doherty. My plans. Sorry, everyone's shouting at me to do my transfer plans again. I'm pretty certain I'm going to do Trent out and Matt Doherty in. I'm pretty certain that I'm gonna make this transfer. The question is do I do James out to Webster or Dunk before the deadline or after it? Because if I do it after, I get to see Brighton play tonight, and I could decide that I think they're so poor defensively that I don't want to buy them. Lewis Dunk or Webster could also get injured, and I could go and buy the other one. So I don't need him this week. So I might just make one transfer. I will wait for tonight's game and then make my second transfer is currently where I'm thinking. We've hit 600 likes on this stream. On most I think I've ever hit on the stream, maybe apart from the game week 1 before the start of the season. You guys, what a day. Webster or Almiron to start. Probably Almiron. Go for the attacking threat. Get rid of James for Doherty, and then in game week 12, Neco out for Webster. So Nuclear still no. I don't think I'd be selling Neco for Webster. Don't like taking a hit for a defender, but is removing James an exception. If he's injured and it increases the amount of players that you get next week, then yeah. Again, I don't love defensive -4s. Because as soon as someone else in the team messes up and you can see the goal, it goes out the window completely. So I'm not completely behind defensive -4s really. So yeah, not backing it at the moment. Maddison or Bowen? I'd have to say Bowen now because Maddison's on 4 yellow cards. If you buy Maddison this week and he gets suspended, it's the worst. So yeah, I just have to recommend it as Bowen. As much as I'd rather Maddison if Maddison wasn't on 4 yellow cards, but I can't go and back him. If you know you're getting dirty, clearly, why am I not punching it in? Just in case we get any news or a leak or anything between now and the deadline, potentially about something else, then potentially, but I'm pretty certain I'm going to make that transfer between now and the deadline. Is Trippier a better start than Guehi or James Justin despite United away? Yeah, he does have the attacking threat, and I think both teams will score in Palace, Leicester. I think both teams will score in that game. Why not Perisic for Doherty? Perisic is more expensive, and I need that money going forward, right? Because if I don't... let's say I go down the route. If I go Perisic, I then go Salah, I can't then do the move of Foden in for Maddison or Foden in for Neco Williams. I can't afford it. So, yeah. Tony for Solanke? No. I don't think it's worth a transfer at the moment. Both of them are not bad options, but I don't think it's necessarily worth that sideways transfer at the moment, personally. personally. Solanke to Kane and KDB to Kulu. So Kulu is not going to play. He's ruled out for this week. Kulusevski is not going to play, so no to those transfers. No, it's a no from me. Who to bench, Guehi or Neco Williams? I'd probably bench Guehi, but I'm not sure Neco Williams is going to start. But I can't say Aurier has been anything worth starting as well. So maybe you just go Neco Williams, because I don't think Guehi will keep a clean sheet away at Leicester. So why does everyone think we will win? Who does everyone think will win, Newcastle or United? I would say Manchester United at home. Always back the home team in these sorts of things. Is Azpilicueta a good replacement for James? He's definitely not nailed when we play 3 times a week, or twice a week, or 3 times in a week. So no, I in his day, he's a good, fine option, but I don't think he's going to start game week 12 necessarily. So I'm not sure I'd be buying Azpilicueta at the moment. People are moving heavy on Doherty. Perisic right wing back and Seth left wing back coming. So people thinking that that's going to happen. It could do. Like, it's possible. Anthony, thank you so much for the super chat. You might be right. When did they do it? They did it here. Perisic dropped an absolute stinker. He got a booking. I think he gave away the ball loads or something. He was not a good performance by him. He got 55 minutes before he got taken off. And I think the score was 55 minutes. They were 3-2 up, and he put on a right wing back because he didn't enjoy Perisic enough on that side. So I don't think it's going to happen, and I don't think he played Perisic on his wrong-hand side against United. So I don't think that's going to will happen personally. So yeah, Doherty, is it confirmed? It's not confirmed, but it's going to be soon. 35 minutes still to the deadline. Again, we are 2 subscribers away from 35.4 thousand. There are 2 of you in the chat, I am sure, that are not subscribed. And there are more than 2 of you in the chat that have not liked the stream. There's at least 400 of you. So help out the stream. This is called SofaScore, this website. SofaScore. And they have a very good app, which I use and has notifications on. Did I see Naga's question? Sorry, is it in the chat or is it on Twitter? Oh, sorry. Should I start Guehi or roll the transfer? Or get a Brighton defender, Dyer, for James? I would wait, and I would do what I'm doing tonight. I play Guehi, watch tonight's game, and then make the decision on which defender you are wanting to get. Thank you. Apologies. Again, all members' questions get answered. Apologies that I did miss that one. Luka, I thought it said Milivojevic, but it's Milenkovic. Should I start Mitro or Tony? I would probably start Tony if I had him, because there's a good chance that Mitrovic doesn't start. Still plenty of time. People in the chat worrying about your rank. People at this stage in the season have been 1.52 million, and they will finish in the top 50k. Mark Southerns, one of the best FPL managers at the moment, is about 5 million in the world. I guarantee you he gets a top 100k finish. It's all very possible. Now, he has skills that maybe the rest of us don't, but it is very possible for us. Please, Webster, Doherty, Kilman, 1 free transfer for James. I'd go Doherty. I'd go Doherty out of the 2. We'll be up against Anthony and Dallo in game week 12. Yeah, but his attacking threat is great, and I need points this week as well. Over the next 2, he's really good. We can have a look at the predicted points if we want. Rate my team. Players. So we need by position. Defender. Perisic and Doherty are predicted to be the 2 highest point scorers over this week and next game week. Very closely followed by Cucurella and the Chelsea defence. If you think you can predict which Chelsea defender is going to start, they are also up there. Brighton defenders are also right up there, particularly driven by next week. So Spurs this week, Brighton next week is the way to go, and that is the way that I am planning. You've also got quite a high amount of people thinking Liverpool might do well. So in theory, I could go Robertson next week if I thought they were going to be any good. Hang on, that's not the worst transfer. I just think I need more time on this second transfer. Robbo would be good if I thought he was going to start all of them over Simicast, which I probably don't. But those fixtures are really nice. Those fixtures are really, really nice. Mark Sons is playing like a casual this season. He tried to follow a different route, but nothing is clicking. It was tough start of the season. He went Kane and Son over Haaland and Salah at the beginning of the season, I think. Which is, yeah, very, very... I mean, the variance on that is pretty crazy. So... surely Chilwell for James. But Cucurella could start all of the games. Cucurella could start all of the games. Nearly forgot that today's deadline. Thank you for my content. If I'm here for one thing, and that's to remind you that there is a deadline tonight, then I am of good use to you guys. Am I not worried about Dirty? Conte did play a game with both Perisic and Sessegnon. Also, next week they play Man United away. Another concern is Emerson once he's back from suspension. Yes, but I only need him for the next 2 weeks. Then after that, then I'm fine. Yeah, I'm absolutely fine. Would I sell KDB for Salah as well? Not this week. Potentially next week. If Salah plays central, then maybe. Can I do Mitro out for Firmino? I just don't think I'm going to do that because Firmino's not playing twice a week. His fitness is not there at the level that I want it to be at, or I think he's capable of that. If I went for Liverpool attack, it would be Jota or Nunez. I think it would probably be Nunez if I was going to go and get this one. Do I think Perisic will play this week? Yeah, I think he will play. Tony to Solanke? No. I wouldn't do that this week. If you need the money for another transfer, fine. But A versus B, I wouldn't do it. It is 30 minutes, half an hour until the upcoming... Hurry up and... half an hour until the upcoming deadline. Then we will be ready to potentially make my second transfer. 923 viewers. That's time for the deadline. Time for my transfers. Dallo on 4 yellow cards. This is true. Jesus, Maddison, Dallo, the big 3 on 4 yellow cards at the moment. If I had Salah, would I keep him and captain him in Game Week 12? I'm kind of fed up with him. I would, if you're at this point and you've still got Salah, I'd keep him. Whether I'd captain him next week would be dependent on how he looks this week. But yes. At the moment, I've got Cresswell, Cancelo, Trippier with James on the bench. Will it be significant loss to sell James when James' price drop after Game Week 11? To be honest, you could just wait like me and do the transfer at 9 o'clock tonight after that game takes place. Again, thank you, Magic. If you haven't checked out my Twitter as well, I also have TikTok for anyone over on there as well. Instagram, I don't post very much there, but I do have it as well. Who's your first confirmed transfer? Right. Let me start confirming some transfers. You have all put up very patiently with waiting for me to do my transfers. We've also passed our first subscriber goal. If we could get up to 75 more as well, we'd hit 35.5k subscribers during the stream. That would be time to go sleep watching your stream more than an hour and a half and you're not uploading your team on Twitter. So, Goblin, this is for you for watching for an hour and a half. Although my lighting on my camera has gone all weird. There we go. Right. Skamaka and Saka or Jesus and Bowen. Saka and Skamaka or Jesus and Bowen. I mean, there is a wealth in price difference between the two. If you can afford Jesus and Bowen, I'd go Jesus and Bowen, although Jesus is on 4 yellow cards. Let's do it. for you. The first transfer. The second transfer doesn't affect my starting lineup, so I don't think so. Doherty is going to be coming in. Doherty is going to be coming in to my team. Why Perisic? Why Doherty over Perisic? He's the cheapest of the lot, and I think he's going to start both of the next 2 games. Magic is providing links while you're just here vibing. We need all the different types. Goblin has left the chat. No, Goblin. Oh, he's stayed this long and he's going to miss it. Stayed this long and he's going to miss my transfer. I can't believe what's happened. I can't believe you've done this. Whatever that meme says. Yes. Cool. Why not sell James? Because I need the money from Trent more than I need the money from Reece James. So this transfer, let me make transfer. Here we go. We are... Do I want the nailed option or do I want the explosivity that you get with Doherty? Need long-term playing defender to replace James. In theory, do I need a more nailed defender? Do I need a more nailed defender? At 4.6, why Doherty over Webster Dunk? I'm going to get one of them next to Explosive. Magic's comment of, Harry, you need an explosive 2-pointers, what you're going to get from Doherty. Maybe. Maybe. Johnny, I won't regret it. Dyer better long term. Go for explosive. You are 20k. Your options are limited to climb. Rank. Thomas, he'd say Solanke since there is doubt on Mitrovic. Yeah, if you're going to start one of Solanke, Mitrovic, definitely Solanke, because Solanke looks like he is going to start. Is Foden a worthy transfer? Not really this week. I'd wait and buy him in game week 13 now because he blanks next week. People are going to stare at their teams next week and are not necessarily going to know what to do with it. So think of the wheel. I know, but the wheel... Well, I did get it right last week, actually, but I was lucky enough to get Solanke's points off the bench. But yes, Perisic's not a better option than Doherty, Harry. I just think I need the money. There's $1 million spare between the two. I need the money. So I have 30 minutes to think about it. Yeah, maybe I should just ponder. Just ponder on it a little bit more. Rolling the other transfer. Doherty, Azpilicueta. Transfer number 1 of 2. Still got more to do. Transfer confirmed. Matt Doherty is in for Everton at home for Spurs this game week. So, transfer 1 confirmed. Please confirmed before I see it live. Foden has signed an extension. Can I go Dyer? I need the money later on, so I need that 4.6 option that I can get here. I need the spare cash. In theory, I'm freeing up a lot of cash so I could afford both. But going forward, I need that money in the bank because I want to do Andreas Pereira up to Phil Foden going into game week 13. Now, I do have a second free transfer that I could potentially use. The other move that I am looking at and eyeing up. Thank you for all. Perisic does come off early as well. With Sessegnon as well, they always get subbed for one another. Ship it. The other thing that we could do is, do I want to do James to Webster? Is the other thing. Do I want to do it? Do I want to make a second transfer? If you guys haven't already, please make sure you've liked the stream, subscribe to the channel as well. Once you've subscribed, you'll be able to comment and ask all of your questions ahead of the deadline. We are 60 subscribers away from 35.5, which is our goal for the week, which would be fantastic. Any thoughts on Doherty? The wheel did not like it. Foden never looked like going anywhere. Good for City. Yeah, he's a top player and he's finally getting the game time and minutes that he deserves to capitalise on the top player. I saw the tweet before you confirm it live by 3 minutes. Yeah, all I know is the wheel rejected him on all of the roles. It is done. Do I want to do the second transfer? Do I want the second one? Do I want the second one? Rashford or Zaha to start. Zaha, if you've got him. Doherty or Webster. Long term, Webster's better, but Doherty's good for the next 2, or this week in particular. Not starting any Newcastle Harry. I will start because I'll get Trippier off the bench for James. So, Wheel YouTube channel. Now that is some top content. That is. While I do that, a quick reminder of my 2 tiers of membership, base tier, top tier. Both basically got unlimited super chats for a month for $1.99 a month or $4.99 a month. The $4.99 also gets you that chat on Twitter with myself and all the other members and all the mods in there as well. But wheel of names. Don't know what I'm going to put in here. Actually, now I've got it up. Dave Jones, thank you so much. Again, you should have gone for a membership. I massively appreciate you joining. Adding a super chat to your message. Which one should I bench between Dunk, Trippier, Andreas, Mitrovic? If you can only bench one of those, I'd probably bench. I'd definitely play Mitrovic. I'd probably also play Andreas over Dunk. I'd probably bench Dunk out of those ones. My squad value, I don't know, but it's quite high. Is I think the conclusion. The Twitter chat is fire, Jen. It is. And you get the benefit of Jen's wheel of selection when you don't know what decision to make. And I wish I listened to it last week. And luckily, I got lucky with my auto subs. But generally, I should have listened to it. 19 minutes up until the deadline. James to Webster worth taking a -4. No, I don't think so. Unless it's going to be a -4 next week anyway. Am I starting Mitrovic? I am. Ashraf, thank you so much for joining as a base tier, vice captain tier member. Welcome. Start getting your questions in the chat. Of course, membership get all their questions answered, and you get to use the emojis, and you get a badge next to your name that highlights your messages to me, both on the streams and in the comments of YouTube videos as well. So you have Isaac, Royal, James, and all of them are out this week. Who should I sell and replace? I'd probably sell James first because I think he's the longest term injury. Isaac is also likely to be out for the foreseeable. Well, to be honest, they're all going to miss game week 12, so you probably need to get them all out. So it depends who the replacements you want. There are a lot of good forwards at the moment, so maybe you go Isaac out first. But generally, I would go. I think James out makes the most sense due to the severity of those injuries. Do I think Todd Bowley will buy Mbappe? Mbappe to Chelsea would be crazy. I would love to see that. I would love to see it. Do I replace Chilwell? Is he worth it? I'm not sure I'd be buying Chilwell just because Cucurella will want minutes and he will play games for Chelsea. So no, I'm not necessarily sure I would. Quarry, thank you so much for the super chat. Mod member and with a super chat. Trippier to start or Paqueta? I'd probably go Paqueta out of the 2. I don't mind Trippier, but if you have a decent alternative, then I'd probably go there out of the 2. Probably would go him out of the 2. Luke, thank you for joining as a vice captain base tier member. Welcome. Thank you for joining. Again, lots of members during this stream, particularly the base tier. These streams are going to be good with all of you guys. joining, and I hope to see all your comments in the videos as well. Webster or Dunk? I save the money and go Webster. Mitrovic out. I'd keep him if you can. Why am I going Mitra of Andreas? Because I think there's a chance Mitrovic might start this week. 2 transfers confirmed. I've only confirmed one. I've only confirmed one so far. And if I had to predict, I'd probably say I'm going to roll the next. I just need to, again, wait if we get as close as possible, if I'm going to make it, to see that Brighton defence. If that defence is poor tonight, there's a chance I go to Liverpool. And now I think that's maybe not necessarily the best idea, but their fixtures from next week are really nice. So I could end up going to Van Dijk, Robertson, or someone like that. Still nothing on Fulham or Mitrovic is the other one. Much love. Welcome. Am I starting Trippier? He'll come off the bench for James, so effectively I'm starting Trippier. Liverpool defence from Gameweek 12. Yeah, I could go there. I could go Van Dijk, for example, but it's a lot of money. Joe Gomez as well, potentially. Let's see how he looks at the weekend. Keep it up. Liverpool defender. Yeah, Joe Gomez is the interesting one at 4.5 or something. Like, I could go there. If Trent is out long term, the issue is James, what does James fall in price to and from? Do I lose selling value if James falls tonight? I wish it's a no, but Johnny, thank you for subscribing. Again, all new subscribers get that little notification. Is James 6 now? Oh, James doesn't fall in price. I don't lose selling value on James, which means I can wait until Tuesday to make that transfer. Oh, I thought he'd already fallen so far this week. That is big, yeah. So I will be rolling the second transfer then, because I do want to wait and see a few of the matches this weekend. I've got a bench to cover if I don't lose value on James. I bought him and he's risen once since I bought him, so I don't lose it if he falls in price. So I might see how Liverpool perform, see what the Trent issue is, because I could even go Joe Gomez at 4.5 or 4.6. So yeah. Have I seen Luke's question? Sorry, Luke. Let me scroll up. I was trying to just check that. Would I sell Perisic for Doherty and keep James, or make a transfer to James? And I'd go James out. I like Doherty over Perisic. It's good for money saving, but I wouldn't make the transfer sideways. I would just sell James. That is a much more important second one. Waiting for you to confirm my second transfer. I'm pretty sure I'm going to roll the second one now that I know that I'm not going to lose value. If I decide to sell James later on and I don't do it tonight. How do you see selling value versus actual value prices work? So if you go into the transfer page and you go list, you have current price, selling price, and purchase price. And I can see James's purchase price was 6, his selling price is 6, and it's now 6.1. If he goes up again, my selling price will go up by 0.1. So for every 0.2 they rise, your selling price goes up by 0.1. But because he's 6.1, if he falls, my selling price will still stay at 6, so I won't need to sell him. If he drops to 5.9, then yeah, I'll need to sell him. But hopefully he can hold his price at least until Sunday evening before he drops again. Hopefully he doesn't drop 2 days in a row. Jordan Smith, do I keep Kane or De Bruyne? De Bruyne is great, but for the next 2, Kane. And then from game week 13 onwards, I much prefer Phil Foden than I prefer De Bruyne. So Kane is a better pick for me out of the 2. Why has James Price changed his news? So I thought that James had already fallen in price, so he was 6, but he's not. He's still 6.1, which means that I don't lose value if I don't lose value if I decide to sell him. Any other captains this week, game week, than Haaland? Maybe Zaha? No. Harry Kane is the only player I would consider moving my captain to. Harry Kane is the only one I would consider moving my captaincy to. Should I roll my transfer for James this week and then transfer for another player? If so, who do I recommend? I'd roll if you don't need to start James and you don't lose money if he does drop in price. But if he is going to drop in price and you'll lose money, then I potentially would look at selling him. So should I roll with James for this week then, or transfer for another player? If you've got Perisic and you don't need James this week, then I'd wait until tonight and just roll the transfer. If James is going to start for you, then I would probably go with a Brighton option because they've got a good fixture, okay fixture tonight, and then the best fixture next week as well. So that would be my plan. Sell James, Harry. My bench is like this. Andreas, Trippier, Guehi. There's 11 minutes to go between now and the deadline. I think I'm pretty safe to say it. I am going to lock it in. Game week 12 team. Lock it in. Let me just check. There's nothing I need to be concerned about. Yeah. Cool. Let's do some questions. James is 6. No. James is 6'1". James is 6'1". James is 6'1". Save me, Dallo or Anderson? I'd go Anderson because Dallo's on 4 yellow cards. Why am I starting James? Just in case he plays. He's not going to play, but so I get that auto sub of Trippier. Harry, you've had Haaland captain and Vice and Martinelli. Is that a good choice? Yeah, both are good. Both are good choices. Ivan, I love it. Kane or Haaland for captain? Darshan, definitely a close call between the two and something that I would be debating. I still think I would go on Haaland because that Liverpool defence has got injuries. They look pretty weak. They're going to be a new defence that haven't trained much together as well. So I would be going on Haaland out of the two. I would go on Haaland. Start Ward or Pope? Ward or Pope? I still probably go Pope. I just don't back Leicester. And as I said, he doesn't get any bonus points or any save points or anything like that. So, yeah, I would be going Pope, even for the save points that I think he can get. Anyone else going for an Arsenal captain option? Quarry, are you actually? A bold move. So my captaincy ranking in my game week preview video had Jesus and Saka in the top 4, but behind Kane and Haaland. Any Mitrovic news? No, he trained with the squad today. They're going to have a late test on him before tomorrow's game. I think he won't start tomorrow and he'll be on the bench and he will start midweek is my predictions. Start Neco Williams or Leon Bailey? Probably Bailey. Yeah. Go for the attacker. Pope, even if you had Trippier, double Newcastle defence, then maybe not. Maybe then you want to go Ward. But if I had to predict a game where both teams would score this weekend, it would be Palace versus Leicester. So yeah. If I had to predict, it would be that game. So I don't think there's a clean sheet in it, really. So I'd probably still go with Pope. Cool. One sec. So, De Bruyne or Kane? Kane for me, because you want Foden over De Bruyne. Will Doherty keep his place for the next 2? I think he will. Who will play instead of James? Trippier will come in off my bench. Isn't it that you need to move Trippier in for first sub to replace James? No, because you need a minimum of 3 defenders. So it will skip Andreas and go to Trippier. Because you need 3 defenders. To be honest, I'd play Andreas over Trippier if I could, probably, but I can't. Dunk or Guehi? Probably Dunk. Are you using 2 transfers? No, so I'm locking it in. This is my team. Lock it in. I need a little thing that comes up that says locked in or not. Maybe I need that, but Andreas or Bay, I'd probably play Andreas. Again, the fixture is much better for him. Sorry, you're super late. What's the reason for Doherty over Dunk? Doherty this week. I can watch Dunk play tonight. I can see if there's any update on Trent's injury, if I want to potentially go and get Joe Gomez in. Doherty, again, attacking threat that he's got there, even without clean sheets. Will Doherty keep his place again for the next two? I think he will. Ragav, thank you so much for the super chat. You have 2 free transfers, 0.7 in the bank. You have James, you have Cancelo, you have Emerson, Trippier, Neco Williams. Thinking of James to Dunk, but what to do with Emerson? I would do James to Dunk this week, and then look at the defences that you want to invest in going forward, and then maybe you move Emerson to that. But James to Dunk makes sense for me this week. Makes sense for me. Just do one and roll the other transfer. Have a look. If the other player that I would probably go with next week is the you've already got Brighton, but you might want to look at the likes of Joe Gomez and see if you're going to get a Liverpool defender into the World Cup. If we get news on how long Trent's going to be out for, if it is only a few weeks, then maybe you don't want to go with Gomez because it's not the best long term, but short term he could be a good pick. Start any two of Andreas, Dunk, Guehi. I'd bench Guehi this week. Long-term James replacement if he's out till the World Cup. I spent so long looking at defenders just to find none that I liked. I'm okay on the Brighton defence. Not bad long-term. Like Liverpool's okay if you can go cheap, but Trent will probably annoy us with Gomez. Brighton are not bad. Palace are not bad. Spurs, if you want to go long term, you go for a Spurs centre back. You go Romero or you go Eric Dyer. Do I save the transfer or do I sell James? You have Justin. I'd probably roll the transfer and play Justin. Zeal, I hope you're happy now. What does Zeal say? Guehi or Dunk? Yeah. This week, Dunk, if I was bringing one in, probably Guehi. It depends. If I had Guaita in goal, then I'd diversify, but generally I'd go Dunk out of the two. Yeah, Dunk. Dara. Yes. 5 minutes until the deadline. Make sure you've checked your teams as well going into that. Trippier, Almor and Diego Costa, Shaw start too. Shaw's not going to start. Trippier, I would start. I'd start Diego Costa as well, probably for their fixture. Start Ward or Pope. I'd start Pope. This is my final team. Yes, thank you for the answer. No worries. Saliba or Dunk. I'd play Saliba this week. Mitro or Andreas. Why? I'd go Mitro because there's a good enough chance that he starts that I think it's worth taking the gamble on him. We are 39 subscribers away from 35,500. There must be 39 of you in here who have not subscribed. If you have subscribed, then make sure you're liked as well to hopefully find those 39 people. Aston Villa, too good a fixture not to sell James. Yeah, well, exactly. It's too good a fixture. I need to keep him. Son or De Bruyne? Probably De Bruyne, but De Bruyne blanks next week, so then Son. But if you have De Bruyne, I'd hold whichever you have, basically. If I was buying one, I'd probably buy Son just because of the blank next week, and you want Foden long-term. Why not toss in as a defender? I could go Fulham, but I don't love their defence, to be honest. Albert or Maddison? The thing is, Aubameyang's a rotation risk, but Maddison has 4 yellow cards. Both can easily miss a game for completely different reasons, so... Should I play Webster or Trippier? Probably Webster, Trippier. Probably Trippier. Harry, first sub is Trippier since you can't have only 2 defenders. Exactly. So James will get subbed off for Trippier because you can't have 2 more than... You have to have at least 3 defenders effectively. Let me just post it on Twitter while I answer a few more. Would I start Andreas or Trossard? Trossard, definitely. Sorry, differential captain, Kane is the only person I would consider captaining over Haaland. Should I play Mitrovic? Yeah, I don't think it's a bad thing. I think he gets minutes this week. Webster or Trippier? Trippier out of the two. Would I start Webster, Andreas, or Mitro? Probably Mitrovic out of those. Cheers, Harry. Great stream. Yeah, guys, 1.5 minutes to check your teams before the deadline. 1.5 minutes to check your teams before the deadline. And it's even less because there was a slight delay on the stream. So, will Soufal start? I don't think so. I don't think he will. Gomes or Andreas? Trippier or Andreas? Probably Andreas. Guehi or Justin? Tony or Mitrovic to start? Tony. If you have a good option like Tony to bench Mitrovic for, then that's absolutely fine. I don't put Andreas in that category. If you had Kane, would I captain him over Haaland? No, I probably wouldn't. I would still be on Captain Haaland. Which games do I think will be no clean sheets this week? Prediction, Leicester, Palace. Both teams to score straight away. Trippier or McAllister? Probably McAllister. Mitrovic or Trippier. Emerson or Williams? Is that Emerson Royale because he's suspended? Or Emerson Paulista, sorry. Probably Emerson. Hope he starts, but... Mitrovic or Andreas? Mitrovic. But Saliba or Dallo, that is going to be the deadline. By the time you see this with the 20-second stream delay or whatever they put on these streams, that is going to be the deadline. We are going to wrap it up there. For anyone who has watched my streams for a while, Pizza Fridays are back. Pizza Fridays are back. We've been waiting a long time for these. I've been on a diet for about a month and it is finally over. Domino's will be coming to the FPL Harry household this evening. Good luck in Game Week 11. This is how we locked in for this week. I'm going on holiday over the weekend. Does not mean that the videos will stop. There will be videos for Game Week 12. Do not forget that Game Week 12 will be a mid-week deadline. Make sure you follow me over on Twitter if you do want to make sure you see my transfers when I do make them. Consider joining as a member if you want all the inside scoop on my team and to get your questions answered 24/7, apart from when I'm asleep and apart from when I'm at work as well. Thank you so much for watching. Good luck in Game Week 11 and I will be back again very, very soon. Thanks, guys. Have a nice evening.